All right, and here we are. Are you guys ready? Are you guys ready to talk about what I believe are the 5 plans that every new youth pastor needs? And but I'm excited about it because listen, we're getting into the fall. We're getting to fall planning and things like that. I know there's a lot of people not ready, and there's a lot of people. When transition happens, usually in churches, it happens usually, summer or into the fall or things like that. And a lot of new youth pastors are getting into the game, and I want to help them. And if you're one of those new youth pastors, let me know in the comments that you are one of these new youth pastors, because I would love to be able to chat with you and answer any of your questions. So let's talk a little bit about the 5 plans here. And these are the 5 plans I think that every new youth pastor, but not only just new youth pastors, but every pastor, every youth pastor should have, not just whether you're new, you could be in this for a year or 2 years or 6 years and still not have a grasp on the planning process, or having being able to put your plans into action. And that's what I want to try to help you do today. So today, let's talk about the first plan, and that is the plan to plan. How do you plan your planning? Listen, you can go anywhere with this that you want. Okay, you can say, look, I'm going to plan by analog, right? This is how I started. I just started with a pad and a piece of paper and said, okay, I'm going to go ahead and write down my plans. And that's we had computers. Okay, let's not go too far back. It's not like I had a rock and a chisel here. Okay. But you have to choose how you're going to plan. What is your process for planning? Is it analog or digital? It's probably both. Is it alone or together? It's probably both, and probably should be both. Is it quarterly or yearly? How do you do that? Some people are week to week. Some people are month to month. And that's nothing wrong with that, except that you have to, I think you use quite a bit more energy in doing that, rather than planning for an entire year, which does take a bit of energy. But let me tell you something, once it's planned, right? So, if you do it quarterly is probably the best. You tell me, in the comments, how do you plan your plan, or what is your plan? Do you do a quarterly? Do you have a system for that? Do you have, is it just you and a pad of paper? Is it a group thing? I want to know all the things, man. I want to know all the things about how you're doing what you're doing. But here's what I know. Okay. What I know is that if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Ben Franklin said that. Benjamin Franklin. And, the deal is, if don't have a system for planning, if we don't have a way of doing it, and the thing about, I know people buy planners all the time, except the planners don't teach you what to plan necessarily. It's just a lot of empty and blank space. And you are left to your own to decide how you're going to do that. And so you have to be able to say, okay, what is a planner going to do for me if I don't already have some plans, or I don't feel like I have, the creativity, or I don't have the, know-how. Maybe you're a volunteer. I would love to hear. If you're a volunteer, go ahead and leave that in the chat as well. And just put a V and say, hey, I'm a volunteer. That's me. And the thing that I find out about planning is if you have a disorganized youth ministry, you have zero chance of being successful. Okay. If you are disorganized, I'm just telling you, and as one who has been there, disorganization just makes people mad at you. Okay. Students are mad at you because you can't seem to get your act together, or at least that's, that's the perception. Whether that's true or not, maybe. If you're new, probably, right? But students get mad at you. Parents are frustrated with you, and now they're mad at you. And then your pastor's frustrated with you because you can't seem to pull the things together that build this continuity in your program. And so is a big deal. Having your plans, right? And not just having your plans, but executing on your plans as well. But disorganization gives you zero chance. It gives you a zero. Now, look, that doesn't mean you don't have kids coming. It just means you're in a constant state of chaos, it seems, because you're disorganized. I will say this, though, intentional planning gives you unlimited potential. So if disorganization caps your potential, organization takes the cap off of that, because a good, well laid out plan, it can change, but at least you have the core things that are in there that make that plan what it ought to be. And then creativity can take over, right? It can wind up, you can drop little things in there, but you can't put a whole thing together in that millisecond. You can add sprinkles, right? But you can't put the whole sundae together in that amount of time. When you plan and you organize, you're putting a sundae together. You're making sure you have all the flavors and the bananas and all those things, and then you can put the sprinkles on top. The problem is we get so fascinated with the sprinkles, we forget to take care of the core things that need to happen. So if you're organized and you have a plan, you can then add sprinkles to that.
I can feel the blood creeping up from the heathens. Got will, got fight, got pride, got reason. If they wanna go eat, then you know I'm gon' feed them. If you're coming for me, hope you're ready for a demon. I got eyes in the back of my head, I'm seeing. Take me for granted and you know I'm leaving. I'ma take what's mine with the webs I'm weaving. I could take this crowd from seeing to believing. Got a taste for blood and my tongue keeps bleeding from the words I spit. So sharp, so freezing, so cold. Behold, frostbite they feeling. I could tear you apart or I could go heal them. Don't believe